Subscribing inside of Power BI is an easy way of setting up essentially an automated email that shows up in your inbox or your coworker's inbox on some regular interval that just has a snapshot of a particular report page that you think is interesting or you think that your coworkers might think is interesting. So let's say that we've got a page. I'm here inside this pretty simple Power BI report. I'm on the subscribe tab. And let's say that I want this page to get snapshotted, take an image of it, and send that image to my inbox every single day. That way I don't have to navigate all the way to Power BI to see what's going on. I can just see it straight from my inbox. To do that, it's pretty darn simple. We head up here to subscribe, right? Click on subscribe. And it's going to say, okay, so I've got this subscription. What do you want to call this thing? I'm going to call this, I don't know, subscribe page subscription. Bit of a mouthful. I can call it whatever I want, right? And here, by default, the person that this is going to get emailed the snapshot of this page every day is myself, whoever you are. You can also, though, if you want to, you could set this thing up so that you send it to other people. So, for instance, I could send this to my coworker here, Greg, and now both him and myself will get a renewal on some regular cadence. So let's say that, in fact, I'm going to undo this. I don't want to spam Greg's inbox. I'm just going to send it to myself, right? So here for the subject, this is going to be whatever the subject of the email is. So this is important Power BI report snapshot, whatever you want to call it, right? Maybe a daily sales briefing or manufacturing briefing, something like that. And so here, if you want to include some additional text, you could include some fancy text, and that'll show up in the body of the email. And here where it says report page, notice on this report I've got all of these pages over here. I can only basically subscribe to one at a time because what I'm subscribing to, what I'm getting is a snapshot. And so the picture I'm going to get is going to be of an individual page. So if I want it to be this page, because this is called subscribe, it's subscribe right now, that's probably what I want. But if I want it to be a different page, I could click on this drop down and pick any of the other pages in that particular report. But you know what? Subscribe is just fine. I want that one. With frequency, I could set this thing up to run every single day. Or I can also say, you know what? I want it to run every single hour. Or I could say, hey, I want to run every time that the data is refreshed. Or I could do it weekly, or I could do it monthly. Just to keep it nice and easy, let's just go ahead and do weekly. That's a nice one. And I could say, well, you know what? I'm not in the office on Sunday. I don't care about that. Not in the office Saturday. I don't care about that. Shouldn't be checking my email Saturday morning anyways. I just want it every single weekday morning, right? And so what time do I want it to run? Well, I happen to know that the data gets refreshed at about 4 in the morning, and I get in at, say, I don't know, 8 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and run this thing at, what the heck, let's say 6 a.m. It's a nice early time to do it. Pacific Standard Time, hey, that's where I'm at. That's about good. I can, if I want to, I could enter by default, the starting date is whatever the date is right now. If I don't want it to start for a week or something like that, I could pick a different starting date, but I think that's just fine. If I want it to only run for a month or something, I can also say, hey, what's the last day that I want to automatically send this email out? Oftentimes, you just leave this blank to kind of do it in perpetuity, right? And so when I'm done with all that, I'm going to go ahead, hit save and close, right? Save and close, okay? And now, depending on what cadence I set, I'm going to get an email that has just sort of a snapshot of my data on some regular cadence. In fact, I've got one of those pulled up. I sort of set one up before the video. So if I pop over to my email, right, I've got this email from Microsoft Power BI. This text right here, the name of the email, your Power BI report subscription. That's just what I called the thing. And if you scroll down, sure enough, you see a snapshot of that image, right? And some additional information about what this thing is. You're receiving this email because you subscribed. So if I sent this to Greg and he's like, what the heck is this? It gives him a hint of what this is and where it's coming from. Also of note, if you actually click on the image in the email, it should take you right to the report. See, oh, I'm sorry, that's not correct. It opens up the image. But if I click on the giant button that says go to report, that's the one that takes you to the report. Sure enough, it opens it right there. Pretty darn easy and pretty darn convenient.